In January 1785, the same tactics were applied to the Wyandots and Delawares of the Sandusky and to some Ottawas and Ojibways at negotiations at Fort McIntosh on the Ohio. So it's January 1785. That's many years after 76. Okay, Wyandots, Delawares, Sandusky, Ottawas, Ojibways, Fort McIntosh on the Ohio River. They met with equal success, for the Indians agreed to surrender an enormous tract, what is now southern and eastern Ohio. Yet again, when the federal commissioners had concluded their business, Pennsylvania extinguished Indian rights in the state. To the Shawnees, this was particularly wounding betrayal because it had been these same Wyandots and Delawares who had hosted their intertribal congress in 1783 and promised to stand against further land cessions. Now they had secured their principal villages in northern Ohio, but ceded the country occupied by the Shawnees. Blue Jackets Town, Mackachak, Wakatomika, the new towns of Picoee and Kispoko, established after the destruction of their earlier villages in the war, a mixed Wyandot Mingo town, and possibly also Buckcongahelas town, all lay in the northern part of the ceded area. Of the Shawnees and important settlements, only the new Chillicothe on the St. Mary's might have been on the Indian side of the boundary described by the Treaty of Fort McIntosh. The Shawnees were furious. The Shawnees were furious. They complained to Alexander McKee that the Wyandots and their friends have sold the whole Shawnee country and themselves with it. Ominously, they asked Alexander McKee to return some war belts and pipes they had deposited with him. You now see trouble coming upon us fast, they explained. We think it nigh at hand. After only 2 years of a truce, they were preparing to fight again. Blue Jacket was probably at the council head at Wakatomika on May 18th, 1785, in which the Shawnees and their closest allies, Buckcongahelas, Delawares, the Mohingos, and the Ohio Cherokees reaffirmed the principles of Brandt's Confederacy. The people of one color are united so that we make but one man that has but one heart and one mind. They warned the Americans through James Sherlock and other messengers from Kentucky that you are coming upon the ground given to us by the Great Spirit. The land north of the Ohio River was sacred and could not be surrendered by the Shawnees. Intruders should beware. Intruders should beware, because the nations of the whole Confederacy shall take up a rod and whip them back to your side of the Ohio. The Shawnees would hold no talks with big knives, except under British auspices at Detroit, where the Indians would not be intimidated by American muskets.